Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today. Today's video is going to be my weekly reviews, and I will just get straight into it because I do have quite a few things to talk about. And as usual, I'm going to start with the TV shows that I finished watching, because there were actually quite a few TV shows this week that I finally got around to finish watching, because a lot of these I sort of started and then I stopped. So but yeah, I'll just quickly go through these. I finished watching Doctor Who Series 3, and I've basically come to the point where I know I'm not going to finish the marathon till before Series 9, because Series 9 starts like on like the weekend, so I'm just like, right, but I'm probably still going to continue just watching it here and there, and then eventually work my way through it. So I'm hoping to still finish the rewatch by the end of the year, but we'll see how I go. But yeah, overall, I don't mind Series 3. There's a lot of I think I prefer it over Series 2, because but yeah, it's basically, it's like, it's not a favourite series, but I did actually think it was, you know, a bit of a step up from Series 2, and because, you know, it's got like quite a few good episodes in it, like Gridlock, The Shakespeare Code, I think that's the episode's name, Blink, and like episodes like that. And I do actually like the overall arching plot, how like they kept bringing in like hints to the Master coming at the end of the series. So I sort of like, you sort of hear like you know, Mr. Saxon and all of that. I did like all those hints that were being dropped throughout the series, because I did like the finale. I thought, like, you know, the last few episodes of the series is really well done. And yeah, so I think overall I'd probably give Series 3 an 8 out of 10, I think. But yeah, but as I said, you know, it's an alright season, but yeah, not one of my absolute favourites. So, and then one of the shows that I finally finished watching was iZombie Season 1. I started watching this when this first came out, and I just fell behind. Like, I got up to like episode 5, I think it was, and then or episode 4, I think it was, and then I just didn't watch the rest of it. And I'm just like, I need to finish iZombie. I need to be caught up by season 2, and I finally managed to do that, and I'm really glad that I have, because I've been just having such a fun time with iZombie. And yeah, I love like Rose MacGyver as I'm blanking on the character's name. Yeah, I like her as a main character, because I can't think of the character's name at the moment. But I love David Anders as Blaine. I think I get sort of I don't know if this is like deliberate or not, but I get, you know, like a Spike vibe from him. But yeah, yeah, Blaine is probably actually like my favourite character on the show. Well, him and Ravi, I think that's his name, the guy who Liv, that's the name. I just sort of, yeah, Liv, that's the character's name, Rose's character's name. Yeah, I do like him as well, so like they're probably like my two favourite characters. So, and I'm, yeah, excited to see where season 2 is going. So overall, probably give iZombie again an 8 out of 10, I think. So that was oh, and before I forget, we also had, for like 4 episodes, we got to have Zombie Bradley James, which was a lot of fun. So, sort of did enjoy seeing, you know, Bradley James in a TV show again, because obviously, you know, he played Arthur in Merlin, and yeah, but we won't talk about what happened to his character, but I did like him in like the few episodes he was in. So, but I think because apparently Bradley James has a lead in another show and he couldn't keep doing iZombie. But anyway, so that's iZombie season 1, and then we have Horrible Histories series 5. Still love this show. It's just yeah, I just ended up plowing through like the last few episodes because I was just sort of like, oh, you know, spread it out, and then I was like, no, I need to finish watching it because it's just so much fun. And yeah, I think this series, my favourite one was like the historical Come Dine With Me, and then like they kept also bringing in like all these different historical, like, you know, historical nature walk and things like that. And it's just because like they had one and it was like they were commenting on this one of the bigger creatures, and they were like, because the cavemen kept, you know, attacking them and killing them all. And yeah, I liked that one. And I also liked, it was I think it was like the Come Dine With Me, and it was all the Greek, like all these Greek philosophers. So you had like Diogenes, you had, I think Socrates was one of them as well. There was just like a few of them, and then yeah, just that whole segment I thought was hilarious, and it's probably one of my favorites, like, of this series. And also, I mean, this is more going back to like old favorites, but the Report with Bob Hale, like I love pretty much I think all the ones he's done. I've loved all of them. It's just him trying to explain all these points, and then he just goes off on all these little mini tangents and that it's just hilarious. But yeah, so because this is the end of the regular, like I guess series, because after that series 6 is like all these specials. And so Horrible History series 5 I'm giving an 8.5 out of 10 because I just really enjoyed the show, like the show overall. And because I have actually started to watch series 6, but I'm sort of stuck because a couple of the episodes that I'm up to I cannot find anywhere, and I'm just like because it's like I found the Magna Carta special, but I haven't been able to find the Alfred the Great special or the other ones that I think that's episode 3. I haven't been able to find them, so it's just like I may have to and the thing that annoyed me, it's just I could have watched it on iView, which on ABC, but I missed it by like a week because it only airs they only have it for like a couple of episodes, and I'm just like a couple of weeks, and I'm just like, I could have watched this episode on iView and that. So I don't know how I'm going to get a hold of it, because I do want to finish watching series 6. Yeah, I may actually just, have to get down and pay for the episode, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's Horrible History Series 5, and then I finally finished Game of Thrones Season 5. It's taken me a while. Yeah, it's... Basically, I kind of got spoiled towards the end, like what was going to happen. So I think it's because of that I wasn't as upset as I normally would have been, because I was devastated basically at the end, both because of what happened in episode 9 and episode 10, and now I think I'm basically Team Dragon. It's like, yeah, Daenerys Dragons just come in and burn everyone, I think, except for Sansa. She can, like, they can spare her, but everyone else, I think I'm just officially done with Westeros. I can't pronounce that name, but yeah, I was just like, what the hell? And then I was cursing Stennis a lot, and I'm really hoping that Brienne, I think that's her name, that she actually did end up killing him, because where they cut it off, I was just sort of like, don't tell me she got interrupted or something, because we didn't see that happening, and it's like, usually when that happens, it's like, you know, it probably didn't happen, but I was just so, I was just like, why would you, ugh. And I liked Stannis Baratheon as well, and I was just, really? And it was like, you know, the crazy mother that was the one who actually showed, you know, was a bit alarmed at, you know, Hannah, what are we doing to our daughter? I was just, the only reason I'm glad that the Red Witch is still alive at this point is because I'm hoping she'll revive Jon Snow. That is basically the only reason I want her still, like, her to still be alive, because I think the speculation is that, you know, why else would she be at Castle Black? It's like, rather, but yeah, it's, I'm just, yeah, I'm kind of just, I was just sort of like sitting there, I was like, because that was brutal watching that. I mean, I knew, as I said, I knew it was coming, but I didn't know how. Like, I didn't know that was how, like, you know, he would end up in that position, and I'm just like, what the hell? Even though I probably should have seen it coming, just because, yeah, at least Sam and Tilly, is that the wildling's name, and the baby, at least they got out of Castle Black. Like, so, but I'm sort of like wondering what's going to happen when they hear about, you know, Jon and all of that. But so yeah, at this point I'm kind of going for Daenerys to take the Iron Throne, I think, just because I'm just like, yeah, nope, I'm done. Because I was just sort of like thinking, okay, I think the White Walkers because I was sort of thinking whether to be like, you know, Team White Walker or that, and then I was just like, actually no, because then the people can still become alive, like they can be brought back from the dead as zombies, and I'm just thinking, no, at least with, you know, being burned by dragon breath, like dragon fire, you don't really get to walk away from that. So yeah, Team Dragon. It's because even though that was, speaking of the dragons, that was end of episode 9, that was all kind of epic with the dragon coming in and saving the day and all of that. So yeah. Oh, and but also I've got to mention Tyrion and Dany meeting. That was just gold. I was so excited because I thought, you know, we wouldn't see that till like much later. It's like it would probably go into series 6, like season 6, but then I'm just like, okay, they actually did it like a lot sooner than, and that, and you know, he's like her advisor, and yeah, so but yeah, it's just, I do also have to mention Cersei's walk at the end of episode 10. That was wow. It was hard to watch. It was just sort of, I mean, I guessing that's the point, but just having, you know, walking through it, and, you know, I don't have like any particular love for Cersei, but just seeing her go through that, and I'm just like, and you know, also what's probably going to happen to her after, I'm just sort of thinking, wow. And then you just sort of have this whole, like, you know, how the mighty have fallen kind of thing going on. And I want to know what's actually happening to Marjorie. It's like, is Marjorie still in the cells? Is that still a thing, or is she getting out? Or I don't know. I'm not caught up with the books. I'm up to book 3. So, yeah. but with that, well, Lena Headey, she did an amazing job with that, and it was heart-wrenching. But I think in terms of overall, like, but overall favorites, I think episode 8 was actually my favorite this time around, with just because with the fight with the White Walkers, that was incredible. And we actually got the hint, you know, of how brutal winter is actually going to be. Whereas, you know, we always had the whole winter is coming, and winter's starting to actually, we are actually starting to see that effect. And so I am curious to see where that's going to go. And yeah, I think they're the main points that I wanted to make in regards to series season 5, which I think overall I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10. Not a favourite season, but you know, I enjoyed it, and I'm still going to be watching the show just to see where it's going to go from where they left off. So they were the TV shows that I watched, and then I watched 3 movies, like non-cinema movies, because I saw 2 movies at the cinema. And the first film that I watched was The Hunger Games, because I was kind of, well, mainly just because I was in the mood to watch it, and then I was like, because the Mockingjay Part 2 is coming up, I was just like, I really do need to, like, do a rewatch of the films. And because last time I forgot to do a rewatch, and then I realised, like, the day before that I was like, hang on, I haven't watched any of the films in the lead up to Mockingjay Part 1. So I thought, if I start it now and then just spread it out over the next few weeks, I will have done a rewatch. And it's interesting going back to the very first one, because, well, mostly because it's been a couple of years since I've seen it, but just seeing, you know, like where they've gone in terms of character development, and that, and you just sort of see, you just, you know, you get the hints of rebellion and all of that. And I always liked the introductory setup to, like, in the film. I thought it did a really good job, like, setting everything up, and, you know, we can see how the characters are going to evolve. And I think, yeah, it just, you know, I've just, you know, always, because it's probably not a favourite, like, in the terms of the series, it's not my favourite, but I do like the film still. It's film. And yeah, I just sort of like, you know, I like the initial Hunger Games. I love, you know, how they did the Capitol in the first time. I love, you know, the interviews with, what's the character's name? The guy who does the interviews. I'm really horrible with remembering names. I sort of like that whole showy aspect, I guess, because it sort of contrasted really well, like, you know, with you know, the brutality of the games themselves. And especially like the initial bloodbath when they are off the pedestals and the game started. Like, I know they toned it down quite a bit from the books, because the books are a lot more brutal than what they do show in the movies, because I suppose they're trying to appeal to, you know, so that the young audience who the books were aimed for can actually see the films. But yeah, it's just sort of like seeing that played out. It's just yeah, that's you sort of don't expect to see that level of brutality, but I just sort of was done really well. And, you know, I love Woody Harrelson as Haymitch. I think, you know, from the get-go, he's brilliant. Like, there's just brilliant casting. Elizabeth Banks as Effie, because I love in the train, the train scene, and she kind of stabs the table with the knife, and she's like, "That's mahogany." I just love that. It's and that, but yeah, overall it was I thought it did a good job, you know, just setting up where the film's gonna go, and, you know, for the first film in a series, I really liked. I just, yeah, I guess really did like that, and probably I'd give it an 8 out of 10, I think, for a rating. Then I rewatched the Avengers because I will be picking up Age of Ultron this week because it's out on Blu-ray, and I wanted to rewatch the film. Not that I really need an excuse to rewatch the Avengers because it's like one of my most rewatched movies, but you all know how much I love the Avengers. Like, you know, I saw it 7 times at the cinema. I've seen it, I've no idea how many times since I've gotten the Blu-ray, but I just love it. It's an amazing film. You know, it's got the right mix of humour and drama and just everything. It was just, you know, it really delivered, and you know, I love seeing everyone on screen for together for the first time, like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. I just loved, you know, seeing their character developments. I loved Iron Man and Captain America, like, going, like, well, Tony Stark and Steve Rogers probably more so, like, when they were doing their initial, like, arguing, and, yeah, it was just, again, it's another film where you actually see character development, and it's sort of, like, where the characters are at the start of the film, like, you know, they don't get along. It's like, you sort of have everyone at each other's throats, but then by the end of it, they're a team, and I did like seeing that, like, transform over the film. And also, I obviously can't forget to mention Tom Hiddleston as Loki, one of the best villain performances in the MCU. I don't even think anyone's come close to topping him as the villain, except maybe Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. I did like him as his character in Captain America, but yeah, I love Loki, and yeah, it's just because I think with Loki, you get that threat level, like some of the monsters and that, like, villains and that, you just sort of like, you're meant to be scared of this guy, but I think Loki, he actually does have a menacing presence, like, because, like, he can so easily manipulate someone to do, like, to work for him, and, you know, he can be charming and, you know, friendly and all of that, and then the next time he turns around is, like, just seeing, like, how that character works. And I think, because Loki, you know, he is one of my favourite characters in the MCU, and, not just because of Tom Hiddleston's, like, portrayal, like, thing, but I think, okay, yeah, I will admit, Tom Hiddleston as Loki is actually, you know, kind of hot a lot. But yeah, I do like, I don't know, I loved it. I just love this film, and for me, it's a 10 out of 10. It's just, for me, it's perfect. It was everything I wanted, and it holds up on rewatch. And I should know because I've rewatched it quite a few times, but it's just one of those films you can put on and you just sort of, you know, sit back and watch it for 2 hours, 20 minutes. But yeah, I love the Avengers. It's one of my favourite movies, and yeah. So it's that one. And then I was randomly in the mood for watching The Fellowship of the Ring, which is normally my rewatch happens in December, but then I figured because, you know, there's no more Hobbit films, I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it now, and I decided to put on The Fellowship of the Ring, and I was just like, you know, wanted to get swept back up in Middle-earth, and it was glorious, and again, because the Lord of the Rings trilogy is some of my favourite films, and it's just so epic. It's just because it's like, you know, for such a long film, because you don't realise how long it is until you're actually watching it, and then it's like one of those cases where you don't mind that it's so long. It's just, you know, everything, you know, the settings, the visual settings and that, I just love sort of seeing, you know, the New Zealand landscape, and one of these days I will get to New Zealand. I don't know when that will be, but I will get there. And also, you know, the score, and just everything that's happening, and it's like you sort of got this big build up and that, and you sort of like you're watching it, and then as I think one of the things that I didn't realize, I think initially at first, is how much I like Boromir's relationship with Merry and Pippin. I think just seeing that friendship sort of I guess evolve kind of thing, but I always did. There's actually one aspect of the films I actually really like, because I like it when they're doing this practice sword play, and then it's like they all end up suddenly tackling him to the ground, like Boromir to the ground, and I always thought that was really cute, like just such a fun moment, you know, I guess before everything, you know, starts to go really badly. But yeah, I've just, because this is one of the films I've talked about a lot, because as it's so I think sort of like, because when you get that sense of bond in the Fellowship, it's sort of, that's why it's so hard when everyone starts to go their own separate ways at the end. You sort of notice, I think on rewatch, you notice that a lot more, because it's sort of, it hits you when, you know, there's, you know, Sam and Frodo go off on their own thing, Merry and Pippa get captured by orcs, and, you know, Boromir dies. It's sort of, and then you've got Aragorn, Legolas, and the dwarf's name. I'm really horrible with names. What is the dwarf's name? It's that's going to annoy me, because it'll probably come back to me like after this video. But yeah, no, I just really, you sort of get that. You get the. Oh, I know I see Gandalf as well in the, you know, the middle bit, but because it's sort of like yeah, it's just sort of interesting seeing that dynamic, and then yeah, just right at the end is you get that I guess, you know, kind of oh shit moment when everyone starts yeah, going their own way. And I sort of did like how that I guess friendship is played out over the course of the film, and like you get like all those little details, and yeah, I just yeah, I just love the Fellowship of the Ring. It's because I always used to think Return of the King was, no, it was The Two Towers that was my favourite, but now I really don't think I can you know, discriminate against between the films. I love all of them, and I sort of always do rank the trilogy as one big movie. But I mean, I'll talk obviously more about those when I get to the other films in my rewatch. But I'm going to give The Fellowship of the Ring a 10 out of 10. And then the two films that I saw at the cinema, I saw Mr. Holmes with Ian McKellen, and because my cinema actually got this film because it was a limited, I mean, it's a few months after it initially came out at cinema, which is what sometimes happens with a lot of the smaller releases. But I watched it because, you know, Sherlock Holmes and Ian McKellen, so I was like, I'm not turning this down, chance to see this. And so good, especially Ian McKellen's performance as the aging Sherlock Holmes, because it's sort of, so I think it's based on a book. It's but I haven't obviously read the book, so, but it's basically it sort of starts out as like an unsolved case that he wasn't able, like, there's a case that Sherlock Holmes couldn't solve, and it sort of goes from there. It turns into a lot more, like, it just goes in a completely different direction to what you'd expected. And you sort of see him, like, he's struggling, like, you know, with old age, and he's trying to remember facts and that, and he's, because, you know, he's, like, with his memory and that, and it's, that, just seeing that decline over the course of the film, like, yeah, Ian McKellen just did an amazing job with this movie. I also liked his relationship with the little boy, and, you know, how they sort of developed, you know, friendship with, like, the bees, and, just that one moment in the film, I was just, it if you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just that it just broke my heart. It was just like because when they thought the bees had attacked the boy, but it was you sort of like, but there's no stingers on him, and it was just like he was like, it's not the bees, and then just that moment, it was, just seeing it happen like that, it was basically making me tear up, and it's it was. Because what I did appreciate about this film was there was very minimal cast. Like, you had the three main characters. Like, you know, you had Sherlock, you had the housekeeper, not Mrs. Hudson, it was another housekeeper. Because this is like in the Welsh, I think it's the Welsh countryside, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was in Wales, but... Well, that was the impression I got. I could be completely wrong, but... you sort of have her and her son, like the little boy, and you just sort of seeing that relationship evolve, and but then you sort of get flashbacks to, like, you know, this one unsolved case, or like what you're thinking is, and then he has travels to Japan, and you sort of see that interaction, and but I thought it was really done really well with the minimal setting, and there's a lot of character growth, and it was definitely a character piece. Like it was very quiet. I love the score in this was fantastic. I don't know who the composer was, but he they did a really good job with the score, and and but I think obviously that was especially mentioned to Ian McKellen, because he really held this movie. It was he carried it like all the way, which, considering he was playing the title character, you would sort of, that's what you would hope. But I suppose when it's someone of Ian McKellen's caliber, it's like was really no doubt he would do a fantastic job, and I would actually like to see him nominated for an Academy Award for this film, because he was just fantastic. I don't know if that will happen, because apparently, I think, based on what I've been reading, the Academy Awards is probably going to be a bit tight issue, like, just with how many movies are coming out, and, like, you know, I guess Oscar bait type performances, but we'll see. That's just sort of what I would like to see based on his performance in this film. But anyway, I'm going to give Mr. Holmes an 8.5 out of 10. And then the last film that I saw at the cinema was The Scorch Trials, which is the second film in the Maze Runner trilogy. And I really enjoyed it, kind of like with the first one, because I still haven't read the books, even though I do own them now, but I enjoy these films, and it had I sort of liked the different settings, and because like in the first one, that they're in the maze, and this time it's them out of the maze, and they're sort of dealing with who can they trust and all of that, and have they really gotten away, and I sort of I liked that aspect of it, even though one thing that did amuse me was the actor who plays Baelish in Game of Thrones. He was sort of one of the main bad guys in this movie, and I was just like, yeah, no, don't trust him. It's Littlefinger, and I was just, that amused me a lot, but I did like, I think I'd probably even say I preferred the Scorch Trials to the first one, even though I loved the first one. I thought the first one was done really well. I did like the whole, finding survivors aspect of the, what had happened. I liked that we learnt a lot more about this world, and I just thought it was a really good sequel, and I'm curious to see what happens in the third film, which I don't think is coming out till 2017, so, because this was a year apart, and then we're getting, there's going to be a year gap, and then we get the third one. But I think one thing that I noticed also is this is going to be the first time in ages that we're getting a, you know, young adult series, like dystopian type series, and the third book is not being split into 2 films. Because I think I was sort of, someone pointed that out. It was one of the forums I was reading, and someone pointed that out, and then they're like, someone else said, oh, there's not enough content in the film to warrant it being split into two movies. So, but I suppose we'll see what the, so I think it's The Death Cure, that's the name of the third film, or third book. But yeah, no, I really liked the Scorch Trials, and I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Bye!